What's going on, guys? Coming at you with another video. I didn't make one yesterday. I got off work early because I actually worked today, being Saturday. So I thought I would make it up and answer a fitness question that I received. And the question was, how do I get bigger legs? This kid asked me, he's about 15 years old, and he says that he's embarrassed to take, his sweats off, and he's embarrassed to go swimming because he says that his legs are small. And so my first advice would be to relax a little bit. If you're only 15, you're probably just barely hitting your growth spurt. So I would say give it a little bit of time. But this kind of brings up a larger issue that I see in most local gyms is people tend to, especially guys, tend to shy away from lifting legs because their legs aren't really the mirror muscles, and that's what a lot of people focus on, is the big chest and big biceps, and they end up having scrawny legs, and as you don't see progression in your legs, then you stop training them, and then it's just this vicious, terrible cycle of not training legs, and then having small legs, and then trying to train them, and not seeing the results that you want, so then you stop training them, and then you have perpetually smaller legs. So I'm going to help you out a little bit here, and I would first say that you definitely want to start, and it's something that I talk about all the time, with compound movements, so movements that require more than one joint, such as squats, deadlifts, and lunges. Those should be kind of your meat and potatoes of your leg workout. But however, because squats and deadlifts require so much nervous system activation, right? They're very, very taxing on the body. The core, the legs specifically, the upper back, the lower back. You're having to brace. So it's really a full body experience doing squats and deadlifts. Lots of times you can get burnt out and get become too fatigued focusing on the heavy compound movement that your legs still have a little bit of juice left in them, but you are too tired, and so you no longer continue with the sets. And these are closed chain compound movement exercises. And what I mean by closed chain is the foot is essentially on the ground, right? Squats and deadlifts. An open chain exercise is something like a leg extension and a leg curl, or a glute kickback, compared to like maybe a hip thrust. A hip thrust would be a closed chain exercise, right? Because your feet are solid on the floor. Whereas if you're on a machine or you're doing like a kickback, that's an open chain exercise because the thing that's doing the movement is not touching anything, if that makes sense. So in this scenario, I assume that you're already doing heavy compound movements, or you're at least already doing compound closed chain movements like squats and deadlifts and lunges, or an RDL, that would work as well. I would say to start with that and work in the 5 to 8 rep ranges for those compound movements. And as soon as you start getting more mentally fatigued and burned out in that sense, switch to open chain isolation movements such as a leg extension, leg curls, calf raises, that sort of a thing, to really beat down the muscle further, to tear the muscle down further, increase protein synthesis in those specific muscles, and to fill the muscles full of blood. Lots of times when you're doing squats, it's a functional, intense movement, but you're not really fatiguing one muscle group to failure, because usually your form fails because it's such a compound and complex movement to maintain good form. Usually your form gives out because you're tired before your legs actually physically give out. And so that's why I would say implement open chain, leg extensions, leg curls, calf raises, kickbacks, that sort of thing, so that you fatigue the muscle even more. Now, for those of you guys out there that always complain about their calves not growing, right? Their calves just won't grow. It doesn't matter how long I train them, they just won't grow. I want to give you a little bit of a secret here. So your calf muscles, there's really 2 calf muscles. One, the main one that people really think about, is what's called the gastrocnemius, right? And just below that, both, closer to the leg bone as well as closer to the ankle, so it's below in both ways, there's a soleus muscle. And both those muscles help to plantar flex, or flex the ankle, push the ankle down, like in a typical calf raise. And that's all that the soleus does, is plantar flex the calf. However, the gastrocnemius, the main meat of the calf, also, not only does it cross the ankle joint, it also crosses the knee joint, and it helps with knee flexion, or bending the knee. So a good thing to do would be not only do calf raises, because so many people spend so much time on the one portion of the function of the calf, which is down towards the ankle. But the other good thing that you should do is focus on the upper part of the calf, or one of the main focuses or functions of the calf, which is to bend the knee. So I'll give you an example. When you are leg curling, point your toe towards your knee, right? That's called dorsiflexion, where you're pulling your toe up, and plantar flexion is when you're pushing it down, like in a calf raise. So focus on when you're doing your calf raises, when your leg is straight, be plantar flexing, so pointing your toe down like a calf raise. And as you bring your heel to your butt, or as you leg curl, pull your toes up, dorsiflex them. What that's going to do is making sure that your calf muscle is getting in full extension and full contraction. And the more, Arnold always talked about this, the more your muscle gets stretched and the more it contracts, the more blood, the more protein synthesis, the more tear down of the muscle, and therefore the more anabolic response for growth. So give that a shot for those that can't get their calves to grow or have stubborn calves. But definitely focus on the heavy compound leg exercises. Mix in, and I'd say 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps for the compound movements, and then switch in isolation exercises of 3 to 4 reps, or 3 to 4 sets of I'd say 8 to 12 reps. And with those ones, with the open chain isolation exercises, focus a lot on the eccentric portion, or the lowering of the weight. That's going to just fill the muscle with blood, break it down, trigger an anabolic response, so that your body can then build it up and make it larger and more efficient and stronger. So that's my advice, as well as, obviously clean eating. If you're trying to get your legs to bulk, and especially if you're a 15-year-old, my guess is that you need to be eating a lot more calories to repair the muscles. But yeah, I'd say definitely just a little bit of patience will help you there. But yeah, thank you for the question, and hit me up with any other fitness related questions that you have, and I will answer them Monday and all of next week. Thanks guys, we'll talk to you later.